entertaining podcasts I listen to. I don't listen to many. That one, Francine, it's a different point of view. It's a female point of view, but someone who's been through the hardcore wars.
Yes.
So what Francine has to say to me matters and is important. And there are two guys up in New York. I find them hugely entertaining. I find them fun to listen to. But those three are the PW Insider stuff that I listen to at all.
Big Ron Shaw here, the Earl of Upsets, telling you to watch my friends, Monte and The Pharaoh, on Long Island's #1 wrestling podcast show. And soon to be the world. That is going to be a big upset.
Welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Monte The Pharaoh, only seen here out of the Monte Man Cave, as our studio is still under construction, and Jimmy out of the Jimmy Man Cave. And our special guest, looking young.
Bro, good to see you guys again. It's been a while. And, man, how's everything been going? Y'all changed the studios, or what y'all doing?
Jimmy, you want to answer that question?
Uh-oh. Is it a bad question?
No.
Are you serious?
No, so Marty, we switched towns.
Oh, man, that one y'all had was nice, but I'll hush in case it ended bad or something.
It was just the guy didn't pay his bills. So they shut him down. So.
It did bad.
That'll pretty much do it.
It didn't that good.
Marty, so I gotta ask you, man. So the opening video, do you still get shit for like punching me in the face? Like, how many people still talk to you about that? We still get tons of emails about that shit.
One in particular still doesn't say a whole lot to me, but I can feel it in the background. That'd be you.
Well, yeah. Well, listen, man, it's hard to get over that. No, but like the people, like,
I feel bad for Jimmy.
Why do you feel bad for Jimmy?
I felt bad for Jimmy because he was doing his best to protect us. Like, y'all are lifelong friends, right?
Yeah.
He did a good job in protecting.
Yeah, I almost died. Thanks a lot, Mike. Anyway.
But I mean, he was doing that for you, and you know, it was like, oh man, I wish he was, because I've never had anything. You and I had a word or two before, and it's been it since that. But Jimmy and I never had words, so you know, he had to jump in to say, you know, help you that thing, and I felt bad for him.
Well, you didn't feel bad. You didn't feel bad for me though, right?
It's very mean. It's very mean.
I felt bad for you too. I felt bad for me. One of y'all poked me with a finger right now, boy.
That was me. Yeah, that was me.
But you know, people still ask, was it a work or not? It was not a work, right, Marty?
No, well, you know, there was some stemming issues. You know, it had from, I think, the very first week. Remember, who was that? Blackwell?
Yeah.
Butcher?
Yeah, he passed away. Butcher Blackwell, yeah.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did, bro.
Yeah.
A
Damn.
couple years back. Yeah,
Wow.
sorry.
Well, I don't know, Marty.
Yeah,
Marty, let's be honest. The guy was like 500 pounds doing 8 balls of cocaine.
No, he wasn't exactly.
I think death is around the corner there, right? I mean, come on now. Let's be honest.
He was
Anyway,
heavy.
as you were saying, yeah.
But yeah, he was heavy. I liked him. He was decent. You know, I met him there. He said we'd done some indie shows before, but I just didn't. How can you forget a guy that big, right? I was like, okay, yeah. I didn't want to, like, I don't remember you, man. But yeah, nice enough guy, man. He was nice enough, you know, maybe too nice that day. Which Monty, you thought it was all me. You're like, you did that shit in the bathroom, you know.
Well, dude, all I remember is here's the famous Marty Jannetty and a 7-year-old waiting to meet you, and you're hanging out with that fucking guy. That's all I remember, dude. 7-year-old, some young kid.
Yeah.
I guess she idolized you, right? So she was.
And it was cool. I had a good time with everybody that did show up. I think back then, didn't we have it where, or y'all have it where they show up at the studio and come through and say hi or something like that.
Right? It's like early on. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, we got Marty covered in pizza flour and Bill Pierce lifting his feet so you could clean the crumbs out from underneath them. You remember that?
You know, Jimmy, I don't even think that was Bill Pierce. I think that was Butcher Blackwell. Again.
Was that Butcher Blackwell?
Yeah, like I'm like his fucking bitch vacuuming, and he puts his fucking hands up.
And you know what didn't help at all? Because the pizza guy, Dan, was it? Yeah, I had left there.
Yeah. That was early on. That was so early on. And Marty, by the way, just so you know, I know you're not keeping track like the internet, like from El Salvador and shit, and she ended up leaving him for some other dude. Yeah. So the guy lost his pizza.
Oh, he lost it?
Like he's living.
He
lost it.
Yeah.
The wife put more.
Yeah, so I guess he is.
Yeah, and so much for the postal system, right?
Well, he acted like he had, you know, Italian backings, you know.
Oh, did he?
Well, he acted that way. He was telling me a couple of times. You need anything? I'll make one phone call. It happens. It's like, all right, brother, I'm all right.
Place closing in Farmingdale. That was the one phone call.
Yeah.
Did you ever eat his pizza, Marty? I mean, I don't want to make it about this guy. I haven't talked about him in 4 years.
No, but I helped you make some that day before coming to y'all.
We know you did.
But I didn't eat it. I didn't eat it because I thought I put too much flour in it.
Dude, do you like when he used to make his pizzas though? Like he'd sweat on the cheese. I was like, I'm not. I know you're not living under a rock, so I'm gonna play a video, and I want to get your way in because I think being, you know,
this Raja Jackson.
Yeah. So I'm gonna play the video, and then I want to know what Marty Jannetty actually thinks about.
Shut up and wrestle.
Sorry about that.
You got glasses?
Hold on. I will find the right video if I could see it.
But I'll tell Iron Sheik story.
All right, 1 out of 3. Hold on.
In the ring, tensions boil over, crossing lines into unexpected violence.
Hell no. Yeah.
Oh, you don't sell it?
What's that?
You don't sell it?
Dude, he's not a fucking marketer, bro. We're good. I know. Fuck him up, bro. I don't play that shit. Sorry about that. Hello?
Double-legged that motherfucker and start welding them. I just saw the video.
Shit pissed me off though, Andre.
I understand that, but now they can't wake the nigga up. He's fucking in the...
My bad.
You didn't have to do all that shit. I understand y'all had heat. You didn't have to
I'll call you back later.
What do you think of that, Marty?
Well, you know, when I watched it the first time, I'd heard some people was talking about Rampage Jackson, who I was a big fan of. Rampage Jackson's son was getting in the ring and wrestling. So when it came on TMZ, I was like, yeah, let me see this, see how his son is. I was confused from the beginning. When what's his name? Stu hit him with the beer can, or maybe gimmicked can of some type. It looked like it was a feeling out process where they were trying to feel each other out. Like, hey, how much are you into this or not into it? It looked like a feeling out process. That did. I don't know if y'all feel the same way, but when he just picked the can up, it was like, well, okay, he didn't mean shit by that because of how easy he hit him with it. And like some guy said, he had his hand. He might have hit his own hand, but it just was. If Raja didn't know that was coming, and Raja is not smart to the business whatsoever, the look on his face was what I was feeling. It was just like, what the fuck was that? Where's that going? Does that mean this is what we're going to do in the match? Does that mean we're friends? Does that mean fuck you? I didn't get it, and I'm sure. Well, obviously Raja didn't get it. But when you first see it, you don't know how much is that of work. Is that what they set up for them to do? Or did that just spontaneously? That's the way it went down. But in the ring, once he got in there and single leg slammed him, I think that knocked him out actually. Because his head did bounce off the floor. But the first few punches looked like if he was ultimate fighting, he's not throwing, good punches. But then as he kept going, then they started wow.
Wait, so Marty, are you trying to say that he was doing working punches at first?
I don't know.
Real?
The first few, if those were his real deal, like what he would have done in MMA, if that was his deal, it's like, oh, dude, you got to work on your, power punching. But they got that way. That's the disturbing part. Is the more he punched, the more he started growing. He hit more and more and more and more, which that's not good. Because it's like you blacked out while you're drilling, beating the shit out of a guy. You could kill him.
When you saw the beer can incident, do you think that was real? Because I'm taking it on the premise that it was. That whole thing, his reaction was genuine. If I'm taking it on that premise, I'm asking you, why would they continue to do an in-ring thing when it's very clear that this kid doesn't get it? Why would you have continued the bit?
If I was Stu, I would have wanted to talk to him more. Like, hey, brother, this is how we do it. It seemed like Raja he wasn't comprehending. He wasn't, taking in what was happening. He wasn't, processing it. He was just like lost. Like, what,
Do you think you should go to jail, man?
I hate to say it, but probably. Because, it's a hard thing too. You think about it, it's pro wrestling, he got in there and got excited and then reverted back to his MMA shit. Like started really drilling him. But even in MMA, when a guy's out, you stop.
What's really important? No, I got to interrupt here. Marty, you bring on good people. When you're on, people come in. Jimmy, our friend Emma is watching us. She's a total smoke show. So Emma, who we were talking about before the show. See, Marty, bringing hot girls to the show. I'm probably kind of digging that. More important than these two knuckleheads making
Emma, hey Emma.
All right.
Have we met Emma?
No, you have not. But I'll tell you, total smoke show. Total smoke show.
Nice.
Oh, really? Who was the lady? I think she had a show. Where I first met y'all. The lady, she had her show like right across the hallway, right there. You remember that?
Who was that, Jimmy? Across the hallway.
My God, he's not talking about that disbarred person who had 8x10s, is he?
She was a lawyer who got disbarred. That's how. That's how great
think
she
y'all said
was.
that then. I thought maybe y'all were.
I heard her and Romano are buying a pizzeria out in Coney
Well,
Island.
that works.
What are you gonna do? Hey,
Yeah, she
Marty,
was
have you
nice
ever?
enough.
I hope he doesn't sweat on the cheese. Did you ever witness anything that severe during your career? You had a long career. There was a lot of shit that went down back in the day behind
Like that.
anything that anybody ever go into business for themselves. You ever witnessed anything like, what the fuck are you doing?
Like that. Probably the most off the wall thing that I saw that I'm thinking of right now. We were wrestling in was it Lawrence, wherever the University of Kansas is. The football team was there that night, and Kevin Kelly Nails, remember him?
Yeah.
He was in the ring and he took care of his match, and he did the posing and all that. The football team, like about 10, 12, 15 of them or so, were sitting ringside. And I'm thinking it was the captain of the football team, uh, big white guy, muscled up, tough guy. And they're all like telling him, Kevin is like posing at him, said, "Come on up here," but Kevin's kind of working it, but they all were telling the captain, they're like, "You can get him, you can get him, you get it." So he was under pressure from the football team yelling at him, "Go get him, go get him, you can get him." And, Kevin was tall. Yeah, there he is too. He's tall and lanky. He's 6'5" and lanky, but he built up the muscles on that lanky body. But at this time, he had actually got into wrestling by going to Vern Gagne and telling me he wanted to start training for wrestling. And Vern says, "Well, who the hell are you?" And he says, "Well, my name is whatever his real name is, I forgot." But Vern said, "I don't know who you are. Go out and win a tough man contest, and then I'll train you." So Kevin went out and won 2 of them. He came back because Kevin's a legit bad boy. He came back and saw Vern, and he goes, "I did what you said." He goes, "What did I say?" He says, "I won. You told me to win a tough man," and whatever the certificate or what, he goes, "I won 2 of them." So Vern had to train him, and y'all know this, I'm sure, but Kevin, Vince McMahon is actually a tough motherfucker. Excuse my language. He's actually a tough mofo. And some people know that, some don't. Probably fans don't know that, but that's a bad boy himself. And I guess at that position, you better learn martial arts, because you're going to piss a lot of people off and have to defend yourself sometimes. And if y'all remember, Kevin, or Nails, as he was called then, he came to me. I was out in the ring with Sean going over some like, "Hey, what if we do this? Let's do that move. Let's do something new." And Kevin, knew us from AWA. He comes walking up. He goes, "Jannetty, here." And more, he goes, "Fucking Vince. I'm gonna fuck him up." I'm like, "What?" I didn't know if he was serious or what. I'm like, "What are you talking about, bro?" And this was in Green Bay, Wisconsin. He's telling me, asking me. He goes, "You think I should fuck him up, Jannetty?" I'm like, "For what? Why?" And he goes, "I just had a damn match with Boss Man. Remember, because Boss Man being the police and being the convict, they shot that angle." But he said he goes, "I was on the same fucking match. That's who I worked with. And he got double what I got paid. I want to go in there and tell him he owes me. He's taking food off my family's table." And he goes, "So I just go in there and knock him out?" And I was like, "No, I don't think that's the way to do it, bro." I'm not sure how I don't want to be the one telling you how to do this. But, we're boys, and he trusted me. So I was like, "Kevin, the best way is to sit and talk with him. There ain't nothing to talk about. He stole money from my family." And so I'm lost. So what do I tell him now? He's already made his mind up of how he feels. So I'm just like, that's not diplomatic way of doing it, but that's not the best way. I wouldn't do it that way. He goes, "I don't know, Jannetty, you're usually right, but I think I'm just going to go knock his ass out." And I was like, Kevin, you might lose your job. You might not get wrestling anymore. And you might put you in jail. Although I got that figured out. What figured? They're going to jail. I didn't know what to think. It's Kevin, that walk he had was amazing too, just like a madman stomp walk, but that was sort of incorporated into his regular walk. He went storming, stomping off to the back, and I don't know, 15 minutes later, John and I are coming back to the back, and the dressing rooms, there were two big dressing rooms, babies on one side, heels on another. And then the hallways for if somebody didn't get in time and don't have a place to dress. But when Vince was there, because it was a TV taping, he's got one whole room. So now the boys are all packed, sardine in, just a dressing room and hallway. But you hear this, stop it, Kevin, stop it, Kevin. You can hear like several guys screaming. As he's walking by, I stopped. It has Vince like this and like around his throat, and is slowly taking him down to the ground by the chokehold thing, just taking him down. And Vince is like red and purple, and I'm thinking, well, damn, I thought Vince was a badass, but I mean, Kevin took him to the floor, and like Sergeant Slaughter, I forget who all was there, John Nord, several of the Minneapolis boys that knew him, from before they got in pro wrestling. They were trying to get, restrain him and get him off of Vince. And it's funny because I sat right there in disbelief, like, oh my God, he choked Vince out. Put your hand on Vince, not just a choke out, it's just you put your hands on Vince. And so I remember, like, where's this going? I mean, what is the world going to hear tomorrow happen here? But out comes Nails, and I'm a little nervous now. Is he looking right at me? I'm like, does he go, man, did I do anything wrong? He walks right past me. He's, watch this, Jannetty. He picks up the payphone that's out in the hall there, calls the police, tells them they need to come down there to Vince McMahon, the owner of WWE. He's known for it, but he just fondled him. So Kevin was telling the police that Vince McMahon fondled him, and he had a history of doing that. So, I mean, that kind of, when you call the police first, you're covered. The second guy's got to defend everything. And to me, I thought that part was amazing. He knew, covered that's good there. And I think after that, pretty much that was just in Nails. He wasn't there no more. We didn't hear no lawsuits, didn't hear no money exchanges. Kevin was just gone. And that was, how that ended. But y'all heard about that.
Yeah, he might have been better off to listen to you, obviously. You know what? And it sounds like it was premeditated because he said, don't worry, I've already thought about all of this stuff. So that's very interesting. We didn't know that.
To come out and call the police with that story already ready. Yeah. He fondled me. Yeah. And if they are known for that here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was predetermined, pre-planned, premeditated. But
interesting. Marty, we recently lost the reason why Mike and I probably started the show in the first place, that the most important, in my humble opinion, professional wrestler that's ever existed, the reason why we have WrestleMania and we have what we have today. We lost Hulk Hogan recently, and I wanted to get your thoughts on his passing, and if I can, also your thoughts on some of the wrestlers slash managers that decided to not pay tribute to the Hulkster on the Raw tribute show, the WWE tribute show.
Was there a bunch of them?
Well, Paul Heyman was one of them, which I found very, very surprising. Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch.
Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch, New Day, and Paul Heyman.
New Day.
Okay, because of the black thing. Okay.
So you worked with Hogan. You were around Hogan quite a while. First of all, I got to ask you opinion. We're going to get serious here. Should Hulk Hogan have been crucified for his lack of judgment that particular day that, his best friend, Bubba the Love Sponge, videotaped him? having sex with his wife and using the N-word. Should his career have been marked like that? And my other question to you is this: if Vince McMahon was in charge of WWE, do you think that those wrestlers would have had the balls not to come out on stage to show tribute?
Yeah, to answer the first one, as far as not having the good presence of mind not to say or do certain things, like the thing with Bubba's wife. Was his wife or girlfriend?
His wife, yeah.
Girlfriend.
Wife.
Oh, it was his wife.
Uh-huh.
Well, I saw it, of course. Bubba and I are friends, and a few of my friends are friends with a few of them. And Bubba and Hulk were so close. I thought, my personal thought, now, I got to do my own investigation to see, how off I am or not. I thought Bubba was helping Hulk with that because Linda Hogan, his first wife, was out putting the word out that he was gay, Hulk, like men too, he was bisexual, trying to fill over top of that story. Like if he's seen her, having sex with his friend's wife, he obviously must not be gay, or type thing, or bisexual, or whatever. That's what I was leaning on, because Hulk is not a bad person that would do that to a friend. That's why I thought Bubba's in on it, which is a hell of a thing. I'll help you not be labeled as bi. Just go have sex with my wife and we'll film it and we'll show the world. Damn. How far would we take to work? But I don't know that to be the case. Maybe that was what we saw, was what it was, going around behind his buddy's back, which I don't know Hope to be like that at all.
Let me ask you this, Marty. You say you're friends with Bubba, right? So if Bubba was this close to Hogan and he hears that Hogan drops the N-word once, twice, 3 times on his video, why would you keep the video?
Yeah, that's a good point, huh?
So what I do. That's what we do here, Marty.
Yeah,
we do good points and crab cakes, buddy.
Yeah, the whole let's not think you're bisexual. But by the way, let's keep the tape where you say the N-word so everybody can call you a racist. And at the end of the day, your legacy is completely tripled and destroyed. That doesn't sound like a friend, Marty.
Yeah, and I had thought that I was totally, I'm not about the N-word. I'm not one of those that, condones it or does it, uses it or whatever. But one thing I'm strong is when you're in your own house, you should have the freedom. And I know Hulk well, so when I heard that, I know he don't feel that way about black people. I think maybe the emotions were streamed up high because it was his daughter involved, and not just a black-white thing. This is my daughter.
Right.
Doesn't make it okay.
No.
But just saying, I was seeing where he might be coming from, because he's not that way at all. I mean, every black guy in WWE that knew him. I don't know about the guys now that didn't want to honor him for when he died. I don't know how they feel about him. But the ones back in the day, which wasn't that many like now, was Coco Beware, Bad News Brown, which Bad News, if you were off, he'd let you know how he felt about you. So for all those, Slick, everybody we did have, of color then, they would tell you, they stand up for him and say, nope,
so
not a racist.
Let me ask you this, being that you wrestled with him in those years and you knew the person and the other African Americans that all have said the internet wrestling community still want to crucify this man even after his death.
Well, they actually, the boys, the industry, at certain points, were hating on Hulk because of his position, most powerful guy in pro wrestling. And they would ask for, we had many trips, road trips with Hogan. And we were talking one time. That's when you do your best talking. It's like a 3-hour drive, you know. He was down. He's rarely down. He's always chipper and happy. And brother, he goes, Marty, everybody expects me to save them. And I'm like, what do you mean? I had no idea where he's coming from. He goes, because, you know, Vince's right arm. They feel like I'm the whole WWF, and they want me to throw them a life raft and save me. And he said, he named off a few names. He goes, I'm doing all I can for them, but I cannot save the world. This is exactly how he said it. So, you know, that type of pressure on you, like when who you consider your friends, right, and you work with, are looking at you like they're meal ticket, and you can't get them all. I don't know how that would affect you psychologically. Like, do you start getting a bitter taste for the business, or your friends in the business, or you know, what does that do to you? He would do the nice. I think I've said on the show before that, you know, he lived in Tampa Bay area, and we were on the road 30, 40, 50 days in a row, then the 3 or 4 or 5 days off, you know, right back to the tour. In Florida, I lived in Orlando at the time. So many of the guys lived in Orlando, Daytona Beach area, and mostly in the Tampa Bay area. He would call, have his wife call, whoever could get in touch with whoever. All the Florida boys, he would say, hey, I'm going to have this party. He would rent those big ass 3-level boats, party boats, I guess. It's a 3-decker with the dark windows and smoke windows. What it does is it goes out in the bay and just slowly goes around like 2 or 3 times. You got a live band, you got a great, you know, 5-course meals. You got the party, and you got the stuff to party with. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Everything is supplied. All you got to do is get there to the deck, and you know, have a good time for 4 or 5 hours. That shit wasn't cheap.
Were there black people on that in that party?
There was a handful. Besides the ones there was one dude. The band. I didn't know who the band was, but they were like folk, not folk. What's that called? The black soul music thing, like they have in New Orleans. Shoot, I can't think of it. Soul music, the deep soul music. It was one of those kind of bands. So there was a couple guys in the band, and there was a couple workers. I can't remember which boys, you know, because Coco wasn't there because he was living in Memphis. Bad news. I don't know if he lived out west, but Slick. I think one of the boys that actually was a worker did come, and then outside that it was just whoever was working the boat, you know, like the band itself and like the cleanup crew, cooking crew, whatever else they needed on it. So that would be the extent of the black folks that were on it. It wasn't like half and half.
Are you trying to say that the cleanup crew was black?
No, I'm saying anybody. I know. After I said that, I'm like, oh, here we go.
Everybody gets canceled for everything nowadays, Marty. Be careful.
Yeah, as soon as I said that, I'm like,
wow, Marty. Uh-oh, buddy.
Marty, why don't we go back to something that you said earlier, because I want to know your take on it. You said something interesting earlier. It was very straight because of the black thing. Now, we've had Coco on recently after Hogan's passing, and we've had Tony Atlas on, and they both have pleaded with people to drop the hate, and this really wasn't who Hogan was. So what's your take on the New Day, who make insanely obscene money today and don't have the work schedule that you guys had back in the day? They're getting paid enormously. This is because of guys like the Hulkster that paid all of this. What's your thought when they, you know, as you said, the black thing? I mean, any thoughts?
Well, I mean, I don't think they knew him, because if they knew him, they would be like, no. I mean, when Mike Tyson says, no way, guys, you know Mike Tyson will knock anybody out. I mean, if he felt like racist and you're dealing with me, You know, he's had some of the baddest men on the planet. He'll tell everybody, tell the black community, no, man, he's not. He's not that way.
What about this, Marty? Mark Henry defended Rajah Jackson and basically blamed Psycho Stu for what happened there. And we all know how Mark Henry has trashed Hulk Hogan over the last 10 years for his racial comments. At what point does someone like Marty Jannetty stand up against someone like Mark Henry for reverse racism?
I don't know. You know, Mark and I are pretty good boys too. I don't know that would stand up to against him publicly. I think, and I probably have done things, and there's something like that going on where they're projecting a person who they are, especially with the race thing. You know, I always would say, take them aside and say, hey, man, what do you think that? Don't you know he did this for you? He did this for that guy? All the guys that
I mean,
know
do you
him
have
well.
that conversation with these guys that say that? Do you stand up and go, hey, man, you know, you're wrong here. This guy has done so much for these people. Like, or do you guys just lay back and say, you know, not my circus, not my peanuts?
Well, there was no time while I was around that came up like that. You know, there was no race cards being played against Hulk, or to tell you the truth, nobody in WWE. I mean, I don't think any of the boys would look at each other as color. We're the boys, we're family. You know, we take care of each other. But if somebody got it wrong, like you're saying, like I'll use New Day because I love them to death. I don't know them, but I mean, I love their product. You know what they put out. It's the most entertaining thing on there. And they seem genuinely like nice guys. I mean, I would sit and talk to them in the sense of how well do you know him to formulate this, you know, this personality that you say he has. You know, how well do you know him? Do you know him at all, or because you heard that, you've developed your information about him to be a racist and you know whatever else? And honestly, you know, and y'all know this, I'm sure. You pretty much can't win, you know, a race.
No, Marty, I understand where you're coming from, but and you talk about this family of wrestling, you know, and wrestling's had more than its signs of warts. Okay, we know all the history of some of the bad stuff that's happened, but why they have to protect each other? I mean, let's use it for example. Rock and Roll Buck Zumhoff, right? You wrestled with him early on in your career in the AWA, right? Don't tell me. Look, I'm going to ask you honestly. You guys knew what that fucking guy was doing to children, right? You guys all knew what. You did not know that. No one knew what was going on.
No, I tell you what I knew was him and his wife were freakazoids because he opened a bar up in wherever the heck it was, St. Cloud or wherever the heck he lived, which was about an hour outside of Minneapolis. And when he first opened it, it was like a little bitty rock and roll bar. You know, he had that damn jukebox. It was like a little rock and roll bar. You know, that's rock and roll zoom off. And knew him on the road as a partier, but all into the women of any age, not necessarily any color, but any age. You know, the older ones down to the younger ones. When I say younger, you know, like 22, 24, I never. Even at his bar, never seen him dipping below, you know, 20, you know, to where I would say to him, Buck, man, what the fuck are you doing? You know, never saw that. What I did see was at his bar was him and his wife are working, you know, she'll be behind the bar. He meets a girl at his club, takes her to the men's bathroom, is in there a while. We don't got to guess what the hell's going on. And his wife seen him go in there. And, you know, I'm watching it. It's none of my business, so I'm not going to go say, hey, man, your wife saw you. I'm just like, wow. Why would you do that right in front of your wife? Until me and Sean saw her get together with a dude from her bar, where she was working it, and go to the women's bathroom with him. That's when we don't lean back like, oh, okay, I get it now, the open relationship. But it was just like, Buck, no, not underage like that. Wasn't it supposed to be his daughter?
There's rumors. I don't know how. Again, allegedly, didn't he lock his daughter in a cage and used her as a sex slave?
I didn't hear that part. I heard she was like 13 or 14, and he was doing things with her. I did hear that, which just shocked me because Buck, he didn't always get the most pretty girls, but he was always with somebody on the road. He was always with a female. You just wouldn't look at him and think, yeah, he's going to get with a kid now. He's with everybody, ugly and pretty. And the age range from, like I said, 20, we'll just go with 20 as youngest, on up to like 70. But there was no signs that pointed at perversion like that,
Jimmy, not to knock us off subject, Marty, I got to ask you, what's the oldest woman you've ever banged?
You asking Jimmy or me?
I'm asking you, man. What am I asking Jimmy for?
I thought you said Jimmy.
No, I did, because Jimmy's got a question. I just wanted to get that one in. What is the oldest that Marty Jannetty decided to hook up with?
I would say 50.
That's not old. You never hooked up with like a 70-year-old or an 80-year-old or something like that, just for shits and giggles?
No, I don't think it'll work for me. But when I was with that girl, she was we had met in Kuwait, over there during all that bad time, but we were going to Kuwait to wrestle. I'd met her there. She was married to a high up sheik. And she came back to the States and happened to be in Orlando. I don't remember how we got in contact, but she was like, I want to see you. I want to see. And she was very pretty. But like I said, she was like 50. And at the time, I was 36. So 50 seems a little more than when you're 60. 50 is not bad. But,
right.
But I felt weird because, being conscientious of the fact the whole time during the playing around the sex, I'm thinking 50, what's it going to be like? Is it going to be just a big mud puddle hole, or what's it going to be? and got in it, and it was like, well, this ain't even bad. But the only thing,
it ain't that bad. It's all right.
He basically has an age cap at 50. That's it. That's the cutoff. That's it.
I just want to know the mud puddle thing. Like, what's that all about?
Mud puddle.
Well, when I say mud puddle, that's going to sound like my black girls. You think I'm not talking about my black girls. I just meant like big, loose, and wet.
What do you mean, all worn out and shit?
Yeah, 50, you probably didn't. Some of the elasticity is probably going around. If you have a
you take a GPS to hit the vulva.
You take a rubber band and walk around with a rubber band, stretching it back and as far as it'll go for like 20,
were you in there,
30
Marty?
years.
Were you in there like, is anyone home? Home.
Hello out there in TV land. That's
you know what was crazy? The craziest thing that came out of that with the 50, I can't think of her name, but she, like I said, she was wealthy because of who she married over in Kuwait. And she told me, she's like, well, I really like it in the back, in the butt. And I've never, well, I take that back. The one time, and then poo-poo fell out of her butt all over my llama hair carpet.
Oh, man, this is, wow. Okay, go ahead.
But she was like,
wait a minute, it fell on your luggage? Is that what you said?
No, the time I was at my house in Orlando, I had just bought llama hair carpet for that room.
You don't want to mess up. Listen, you don't want to mess up that llama hair.
Here we go with the llama carpet again.
Yeah. Can I ask you, what kind of cleaning equipment did you use to clean your llama?
I had to call Stanley Steamer, and they didn't even want to mess with it. But it's like with that llama hair, it looked like when you just look at it, it looked like somebody dropped a can of Brunswick stew on the floor.
Did the more
But and the way that one worked out, she's one. Oh, just please, it's my favorite. It's my favorite, and I didn't want to. And
What, dropping a log on the carpet is her favorite?
no, doing it to what causes that? Doing it in the butt. Remember that song way back? Do it in the butt. Do it in the butt all night long.
Was
The
that
old
playing?
song.
it's a Friday night on Monte The Pharaoh, Jimmy. It's a Friday night,
Yeah.
brother.
Oh, that's
yeah.
right. It is. But she tells me, please, please, just, and I'm thinking, please, okay, let me, let me, let me do. I'll do it once, and that's it. And I told her that, so don't expect it all the time. And so plopped in there, and it's, I'm sure I was making faces, but she's standing, she's been over the bed, so it's like one of those positions. And I'm behind, and they get a knock at the door, and I was like, thank God, because I
They're
got to go
already
get the door.
knocking on the back door. Who's coming in the room now?
Yeah. And so when I pulled out, I said, I got to go get that. It might be important. When I pulled out, that's when it just all over the carpet. It was so disgusting. She did not even try to ask again.
Jimmy, you think the dirt sheets will pick up this story?
Oh, I didn't think about that shit.
Well, it's pretty dirty. I mean, it sounds filthy. He needed Stanley steamer. You know what I mean?
I need a shower after this one, man. You kidding me?
Yeah.
Good, Jimmy. Jesus Christ.
I don't feel well. I don't feel well after hearing that. This is not good. Well, why don't we go from
Imagine.
one crazy person to another?
By the way,
talk about-
that little vignette was sponsored by Stanley Steamers, guys. Go ahead.
Oh, really? Yeah, they'll be calling us tomorrow, Mike.
You know what was crazy too? At that time, the Orlando house, I was seeing one of the girls I was seeing that was in town local. Her dad had owned a branch of Stanley Steamer, and her name was Tara. I don't want to say Reinhardt, but I'll just say Tara. And her dad owned that, so she was a cluck, bad. People like that is just dropping everything, running into shit and dropping. Biggest clucks in the world. Well, I just had my carpet cleaned, not by Stanley Steamer, but I mean, it was clean. It was just freshly, she goes to the kitchen, gets a plate of spaghetti. I made some spaghetti, and she comes walking back in and stumbles, and spaghetti goes all over the damn carpet. I just had cleaned, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And she goes, oh, it's okay. My daddy, worked at Stanley Steamer. I can probably get you a discount. A discount? Shit. You did that shit. You fucking pay for it. Damn discount. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Go ahead, Jimmy. Jesus Christ.
Hey, so let me ask y'all, though, because
as he's telling this story, I'm looking over here to this bottle of bourbon on my left, and I'm like, I need to drink this live. I can't take this anymore.
I know. So what's the question? What's the question, Marty? Go ahead.
This is a Friday night on Monte the Pharaoh. Yeah, Marty,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on Billy Jack Haynes? There's another guy who.
Wait, hold on, Jimmy. Marty has a question for us.
Marty
before he gets to the Billy. He has a question for us.
Go ahead, Marty. Go ahead.
Well, wait, I like the Billy Jack one. That's another one that's just wow.
Well, that's next, but what's the question you have?
What's the question?
Well, the one for y'all was what y'all thought, y'all's opinion of the whole Roger, because I'm intrigued by how the hell did it get like that? The guy almost
Jimmy,
got
you want to take that, Jimmy?
Right. Well, on surface value, to me, if you take everything the way it's being sold to us, that it's real. I have no clue if you're the promoter why you would go through with the rest of the angle after what happened with the beer can mishap. It would be like, red flag. This shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I agree.
But I also wonder how, unless we're really at that point in society, and I asked Mike about this when I saw the video originally, why is everything being recorded? Like, you've got his recording, like it's all been... He's talking to the promoter afterwards. Why are we filming that? Like, why did we film the thing before it? Why did we film?
Which made it look like like it was plotted out. But
if
the
it's
kid.
a work, it's brilliant. If it's not a work, then this guy needs to obviously never be in a wrestling ring.
But the young ones today, the kid, we call them kids, right? But the young ones, they're all about catching content. Let me film this. Let me show people that. Let me film this. Great content, great content.
Yeah.
So I mean, and in fact, Raja was doing that very thing afterwards. He was talking to somebody on the phone, and they was filming it. You know, he was talking about what happened and whatever else content. You know, for
I mean, look, man, I think this, guys. I think that in wrestling, right, Marty, you're an all-time great, right? You know how to
appreciate that.
wrestle. You guys give each other your body.
Yeah,
Obviously, this guy Stu gave. I mean, he's a much bigger guy than Raja. So if he wasn't going to let Raja lift him, which he did, okay, he helped him. So there must have been something going on there.
right.
Raja took liberties, and listen, Marty. Let's be honest. You by accident broke a man's neck in the ring, so you know how serious it is. You
Yeah,
pretty much respectfully crippled a man for the rest of his life, right? And
yeah. But I
look at all
wouldn't
the
say
people
I
that
did.
would. Well, you understand what I'm saying. You guys
Yeah, I
work
know what you're
together and it
saying. Yeah,
happened.
Intentionally,
So my
not
point is,
intentionally.
for someone like yourself to see someone take a liberty like that and
yeah.
possibly
And
end
that,
someone's life, it should even hurt worse for someone like yourself, right?
and that's what I wonder how Rampage himself is thinking. He's when he looks at it, that's my son. He's outside his mind right now to be doing that shit. You know, what's he going to tell him? Like, hey, that was good, you know, or go a little lighter, you know, because Rampage, I don't know if he knows anything about wrestling, if he's smartened up to it at all or what.
Well, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sorry, Mike, but correct me if I'm wrong. Hasn't Rampage Jackson been not exactly apologetic about the whole thing? Did I miss something?
He's angry at, according to the video I saw, he's angry at his son, but he's trying to hold everybody accountable on this. So
It
again,
almost seems like it should be. It really does. I mean, why did the promoter let it go like that far? Why'd
I
you
agree
have
with that.
him doing this? You know?
I agree with that. Yep.
Yeah.
listen, but in the end, guys,
Shouldn't
in
have happened.
my thing, wrestling is entertainment. It's not combat sport, right? And it's like, again, okay, he's mad over the can, whatever. Again, the can didn't look like it bothered him, but I'm not going to say it didn't.
Not
So,
at all. That's what it too is like.
but he could clearly see the guy is unconscious. What are you doing?
That's
You're
what I
going
say. He
to
must have
kill
blacked out.
somebody.
You know,
Yeah.
some guys during the heat of the moment completely black out. And I was thinking that's exactly I don't want to say excuse, but I was thinking that's what the reasoning he would give. Like I blacked out, which
Well,
some people do.
I'll say this to you, Marty. Then what's the difference between Raja Jackson and Chris Benoit? There is no difference. It's just that Chris Benoit finished the job and Raja Jackson wasn't strong enough to finish the job.
Wasn't in the same
Somehow it's
circumstances.
a little different.
Yeah, it
Well,
wasn't in the
why?
same
Why is it a little
circumstances.
different? Tell me why.
Well, because I don't think Rajah was trying to kill him. I think he just lost his mind there for a
Yeah,
bit.
right.
Benoit that was planned, and in his mind. I don't think he wrote it down and showed people. I think in his mind, this is what I got to do.
Yeah,
I
it
mean, I
looks
still
very
have doubts,
methodical.
and
That's true. It looks very methodical. That is true.
Okay,
yeah,
but he's punching the guy. Okay, at some point you kind of
ridiculously, yeah.
realize you're going to kill somebody.
Right.
So
And
whether
that's
you
what I
blacked
say.
out or not,
And
good.
that's what I say with the martial arts. They know, okay, he's out. Let me stop.
Right.
You know, that's for him to continue going. Did he not get trained right?
Right.
You know?
If that man had died, Mike, he would have been charged with and convicted of murder.
Jimmy, he may
Would
not have
have to.
because it's make believe wrestling.
Right.
So maybe they go, it went awry.
The defense
And
could
that's
definitely
exactly
try to.
what's going on.
The defense
You know.
could definitely try to spin it. I'll tell you what, too. If this wasn't a shoot, what we saw, and this was actually the whole thing was the work, this is a bad look one way or the other. And the only reason I say that is that Mike, I was there at that SummerSlam when Brock Lesnar repeatedly was striking Randy Orton, and Jericho was backstage waiting for him. You know, that was a terrible thing. That did not. People left angry. So even if it was allegedly, possibly for real, it's a bad look one way or the other. Bad look.
Yeah, definitely that. And especially how much attention it got. You know, TMZ showed it 100 times.
Right.
I didn't really see it on the others, like ESPN or anything like that. I think it was talked about.
Yeah, I don't think it's too sensationalist. Maybe, Mike. Why the hell did ESPN?
Listen, I'll be honest with you. I think Raja Jackson's getting away with way too much. He should be put in jail. or at least punished. Something.
Something,
You can't do that.
And speaking of being put in jail, let's get back to Billy Jack. What's your thoughts on Billy Jack?
Oh, Billy, that's my boy, man. You know, I'm sort of blackballed from being in the Hall of Fame now because of Billy Jack. And how that is Billy Jack called me up at the house, got my number from some girls we all, have been around. And he started preaching to me the CTE lawsuit. CTE lawsuit, Marty. There's a bunch of us. I didn't care about it because what's the lawsuit? We weren't told of the dangers of wrestling. Come on, man. Fuck, we don't know the dangers of fucking pro wrestling. You are slamming. Gravity does exist. And, which is what broke that guy's neck in my deal, Monty, like you were saying. But so he, when he told me about it and we're going to be rich and all that, maybe that's just stupid in me, but I don't really care about all that rich shit. I just want to have fun in life doing what I love doing, which is wrestling. I didn't care about the lawsuit at that point. But once, Ann Russo, and I won't say her name, but once she was in charge of the wellness center for WWE, I knew her well. And so I called her and talked about my ankles are causing me to take pain pills where my brother's worried that I'm OD on them. And, that's when all the boys were ODing on pills and coke and, steroids. The steroids itself don't do anything, but when you combine them with that, it's double time on your heart. And that's the guys that were following, not the guys that took steroids and not the guys that, like Tanaka, that just did an unbelievable amount of drugs. The ones that were doing both, they were flopping, But so I didn't, my brother was worried I was going to be the next one to show up there for the 10 bell. I told Ann, I said, look, man, it's just my ankles. If y'all can fix my ankles. The doctor is a friend of mine I played high school football with and college football with. I've known, since then. He's not charging. So the only thing y'all would have to pay is the hospital itself. It's a separate charge than the doctor. Just pay the hospital bill. Y'all made enough on me last quarter from royalties that it's as much. It was like 25, 30 grand would have been all they had to pay. Probably 25. We'll go with that. And then I'm fixed. I'm out. Now, I told Ann, I can't say her name right now, but I told Ann, I was like, y'all are putting Sonny, and I love all these people. I'm not putting them down. But, you're putting Sonny, you're putting Scott Hall, you're putting Jake Snake, you're putting them through rehab 10, 15 times. It's 30 grand a month, for the rehab, a full session. Don't waste that on that. Just pay for my ankles and I'm fixed. And she was like, well, Marty, you got a very valid point there, but here's the problem. So I'm ready to hear this, right? If we did that for you, that would open the floodgates. We'd have to do it for everybody. That's the reason. I mean, you just made $1 million something off me last quarter from the royalty checks. It shows, it's broke down. You see how much they made. They made $1 million. You can't take 20 grand out of that I'm still making, y'all. You can't take 20 grand out of that, and I'm out of the damn woods. No more overtaking pain meds, none of that shit. But she said, I'm sorry, Marty, it's just, we can't. So that's when I called Billy Jack back and said, what about this lawsuit? Because then I was pissed. I still didn't care for the CTE thing, because, gosh damn, you're going to get a concussion here and there. But if they're going to treat it like that, well, we're making them money still, and you can't just fix my ankles, but you're sending everybody through rehab and spend all the money up on that. It just aggravated me, hit me the wrong way. So that was why I got in the lawsuit. And then, of course, the lawsuit, I talked to the lawyer daily, getting information, and when they were going to hold the case in Connecticut. And he was from Boston, a Boston attorney. They had beat the NFL for $2 billion on the CTE thing. Same, not bank, same attorneys. So, that's okay. Wow, they just beat the NFL. They're probably going to get something with WWE. It's the same principle what they're doing to them. Well, he was telling me we're going to have the case, first hearings. It's in Connecticut. I'm like, no, you can't have a court case against the WWE, not in Connecticut. They're gods there in the court system. You can't. They went ahead anyway, and sure enough, the judge threw it out. so now I was involved with that. Now I'm blackballed because I was trying to sue them.
So, Marty, we've known each other for a long time. When it comes to the Hall of Fame, I mean, look, we all expire at some point in our life.
Yeah.
Is that something that you really want? Is that like one of your final things about your career that you really want, that you'd feel empty if you didn't get it?
Well, I don't even know if it would be feeling empty, but what it does, at one point I could care less. Mike Tyson's in there. He never wrestled a match in his life.
Right.
Donald Trump, who I love to death, he's in there. Dave Arquette, he's in there. I mean, it's a phony ass Hall of Fame. So at first I really didn't care, but as I've gotten older, one thing, your paycheck gets a little better if you're a Hall of Famer, because you can advertise differently. Marty Jannetty Hall of Famers coming here. But the main thing is now when I watch other sports and like they'll talk about his baseball player, like, yes, Hall of Famer shortstop for the Yankees. That Hall of Famer stigma just stuck on it, added to it. It's like, that would be nice to hear that. I mean, because of all the legitimate guys that are in there, the real wrestlers that were great. Man, I'm right amongst them. Why wouldn't I be in there? I should be in there.
Listen, dude, you and I have had our issues, right? But there's no doubt you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, right? I mean, that's without a doubt.
And there's two things that could factor in for it happening. One, we expected a while back, but for whatever reason, and that being Sean would go in as the Rockers would be his third time in. That puts him ahead of Flair, Triple H. He'd be the only 3-time Hall of Famer. And if you know Sean, if you know his personality and his love for himself, that's something he would love to have. So I've been riding thinking when he's ready, we'll go in. But now they got like different ownership, so the whole lawsuit thing shouldn't even be a factor anymore. I guess.
Well, I think since Vince is no longer with the company anyway, right? The one worry I do have for you, Marty, is the new wrestling fan doesn't remember guys like yourself. I mean, they remember wrestling probably starting with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah. And the longer this goes on, the more and more difficult it becomes. I don't mean to be a dick about it. It's just
no. I'm just not relevant now. It's like the only people gonna know who I am are 42 and up.
Yeah, for sure.
And as the years go by,
Marty, they do the inexplicable though. They do, like, not that long ago, Mike. They put the Bushwhackers in. So don't tell me that the Rockers would not get in.
There's no doubt.
The one thing Marty does bring up, Jimmy, that makes a lot of sense is Sean has a lot of clout, right? So if Sean wants to be that 3-timer, it would only make sense to do it with Marty, right?
Did the lawsuit affect your friendship with Sean, and does it still have residue today?
The what? The lawsuit?
The lawsuit.
The CTE one or the one where we went to court that Chuck Austin would have broken it?
Anything that would make Sean create distance between you and him due to what you were doing legally against the company?
The only thing Sean has any resentment, it's not really even resentment, but kind of would like that to either be erased or the lines blurred, is how he wants to be completely separate in the Rockers as I'm the man. I'm Shawn Michaels. I did this. Look what DX and I'm the one. Because when we first split up and he was going around in singles and I was too, he would always hear and he hated this. I've seen some of his reactions sometimes. Fans would come up and ask him, well, why are you doing so good? Marty was as good as you. And oh my God, he was like, sometimes he'd yell, get out of here, but usually he would just be steaming and walk off. It's the whole reason the New Rockers was ever invented or created, because he was trying to create distance between me and him and the Rockers. The New Rockers was taking a swing at what we did, making it goofy, we're stupid, we're lost in time. So that was a sense of distancing himself from that memory in the fans. That was one of his ways. He came and told me that day that they had Al and I team up. He said, "How'd I like that? To just be stuck you're stuck in the past and you're silly and you're all this." But I thought it was just horrible. I didn't want to do that. But then when Sean come up and told me, "How you like it, man?" It was my idea. When he said that, I was like, "Fucker." Yeah, now it makes sense. Because I couldn't understand why Vince would want to do that. Why would you?
I gotta tell you, Marty. When the more and more we've been in this, it seems like some of the shit that goes on is stuff that is just, it's just terrible. Like that was your brother for the longest time, and then he
7
tried to
years.
snuff you out. Listen, I'm going to make a swing to the right a little bit. We all know what was been going on with Vince McMahon, and most recently, a story's coming out about him being on an airplane with all the boys on with Ashley Massaro. He's finger banging the shit out of her, and then he tells everybody to get off the plane. And then he's, they're watching the plane go back and forth. Now I know you weren't around when Massaro was around, but you were around with Alunda Breeze, Wendy Richter,
Oh, it was around.
Sherry
Actually,
Martel. Did Vince McMahon back then show those traits? Do you believe
I didn't
that
see him.
he's this guy?
Yeah, I didn't see him. That doesn't mean he didn't. It just means I never saw that part. When I heard about him shitting on a girl or somebody in the office, that him and I guess Laurinaitis and Lesnar or whoever would all come get on her or whatever. When he was sharing her with everybody, but when they told about the shitting on the table, a glass table above her and stuff, and was shit on her, I'm like, come on, Vince. I hope that's not true. Because, I don't want to see Vince in that light,
Well, he is like 80 years old, man. I mean, you do lose
which makes it
control
worse.
you lose control of that, right? So, maybe he just fell out.
It was just like that girl when I said,
No. With Vince, it's lack of control. With that, you force that out of her, right? So there's a difference there.
So what
sure.
you're saying is that Vince wrote his loose bowel into the script. That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
Pretty much. That's amazing.
Yeah, that whole story.
So since you never saw Vince do any of this, right?
Right.
I'll even ask you this. There's also the rumor that, your friend Brutus Beefcake tells, or somebody tells a story that Vince was coming out of the room with Shawn Michaels, and I think it might have been Pat Patterson. Like they had their way with Shawn Michaels. Did you ever hear that story?
No. No, and I would go to doubt that. Now this is going to be horrible if it gets back to Sean because, I'm not trying to dog him or anything, but I've always had to answer to, I'm not going to say the Rock and Roll Express or any who, but would always say, your partner's, that way, right? Your partner's that way. And I don't, the evidence circumstantially would say, okay, why, when we were in Nashville, making no money, having to stay in split hotel rooms at $14 a night, $7 a night, eat at the Chinese buffet for $5 and eat enough you don't got to eat again till tomorrow at the same place. Compiling your money up together so you can get by a day. Then you go hang out with Ronnie Gossett, who was a known gay man that would pay the young boys to ride with him or whatever. Leave me at the hotel one night, which I'm like, Sean, I can't afford the place by myself. Ronnie was like, I got it. Don't worry about it. I got it. Paid for Sean's half of the room. Sean goes and stays with him at a Hilton or whatever downtown Nashville. And the next day when they come get me to go to the next town, Sean's got a full-length leather jacket on. He's got some snakeskin or ostrich skin cowboy boots. He's got black leather pants. And I guess this is back when that was starting to get popular. He's got a goddamn $500 to $1,000 worth of clothes on. We can't even pay for a hotel room. How did that happen?
Did you ask him?
I think I just kind of, I might have teased him when he was drinking or something. So, goddamn, man, you the pitcher or the catcher? Playing or something. But I really just chose to believe that he didn't go that route. But then again, everywhere we would go, the gay guys, it was like a magnet. There was a guy out of Memphis that wanted to fly him up to Louisville on his own private flight. And Sean went with him, told me he'd see me up in Louisville, get back with me. So you're going to take off in this private jet with a known get, disguise. I mean, the things like that did surprise me.
Marty, let me ask you this: throughout your illustrious career, were you ever approached to go to the other side in order to push or enhance your career? Or were you ever
No, not for that reason. Not to enhance the career. I was one of the agents, and I love him to death, so I don't want to say Terry Garvin's name, but he was he was known. He was third man in line. It was Vince, of course, and then Pat Patterson was second highest up on the office, and then Terry Garvin. And Terry was the one to help me get in WWE. But he was friends. I was friends with him since I started in Kansas City, and he looking back, I feel bad about this because he would get us when we go to the clubs. He's like, "Hey guys," because we always were partying with the girls. "Hey, you guys, keep an eye out for me tonight. Keep an eye." Like, what do you mean? Look for me, a young boy. Look for me, and it was like, we're drinking and partying. We're thinking, okay, yeah, no big deal. Young boy, you're in a club, they got to be of age, right? And we would tell some of the guys we were guessing 21 over to Terry. Well, I ain't gonna say his name, but send him over there, and he would get all happy and cut up with them until they realized, oh no, I'm not that. I do remember Terry asking one time, "Can you find someone a little younger?" We're in a club, man. They can't get in if they're any younger.
Were you around for the Ring Boy scandal, Marty?
I was there. In fact, Kurt Hennig had a hell of a joke about it because Mel was known to like feet fetish, and he had the young guys on the ring crew, and Kurt Hennig was like, "Hey, you hear what Mel's favorite food is? Free toes, free toes."
So let me ask you this, and again, this is a serious thing. Do you believe that Mel Phillips, Garvin, and Pat Patterson was accused, but later on, I guess they said he wasn't involved. Do you believe that they were taking advantage of these young boys?
I do. I believe it. I don't doubt it. And I would like to say, just Pat or just, but no, honestly, Mel didn't make it a secret.
So
Terry.
Can I ask you this then? I keep interrupting you, so I apologize.
That's
But
all right.
how about the morality? You mentioned Kurt Hennig, right? And I understand it's a funny joke, but in the reality of it, you guys are grown men. You now really believe that someone like a Mel Phillips is sexually assaulting underage children, or it doesn't matter, sexual assault. How do you sit by and be like, this is okay? We'll just.
I don't think we looked at it. I don't think we looked at it as he was assaulting them as much as we thought that's what happens. That's what they do. They're in on it in the sense that like, okay, they're going to hustle him to get the job, and he's going to take it back. Kind of like that. If we would have thought it through, like you're saying, kind of, and thought, well, he's manipulating their minds, then I think any of us would have stepped up, and I think somebody must have for him to have gotten caught. But that's what we look at it more of well, the kids are using them too, so they can get the job. They're agreed to it. It ain't getting hustled or mind fucked or anything like that.
So kind of like Shawn Michaels had an agreement and went and did his thing in order to enhance his career. You're saying that type of situation.
Yeah, I still would like to say that Shawn didn't do that, but I mean, I know Terry Garvin, whose name I'm not going to say, when we were in Kansas City first starting, and Sean came through and was a friend of mine. I was hanging out with Sean, and Terry Garvin knew it, and he came over to me one time. He goes, "Hey, get Sean to go to the Crown, whatever hotel it was. The WWE was going to be in town. It was just tell him $200. We were only making $50, a show, $70 a show or whatever. $200. All he's got to do is lay there, just lay there." And I didn't know what he was talking about or whatever. I said, "I'll tell him." But afterwards found out he was talking about Pat Patterson. Pat Patterson was going to pay $200, $300, and all Sean had to do was lay there. And I found out that it was a factual thing that happened because Jimmy Powers, who's a very good friend of mine and had said he made a joke about it one time. He goes, "Yeah, gosh damn it, they told me," and he didn't say who was they, but you can figure it out. The office guy, "Yeah, they told me all I had to do is lay there, take a blowjob. I didn't have to do anything, and my career would be better." But he did. Here's what Jimbo would do about it. He goes, "Damn, I look back now, it's like shit. All I had to do was lay there."
Well, he's living in his mom's basement now, right?
Who's Jimbo?
Yeah.
No, he's living with some lady up in somewhere in Wisconsin. He's not doing good.
What's wrong with Jim? What's going on with
He's
him?
losing his brain. He's starting to go. What is it when you get old like that? Where you no memory.
Alzheimer's?
Blanking. Yeah, it's blanking out while you're walking. You don't know where you were going. And yeah, he's getting real bad with that.
Marty, was there a part of you that was jealous that you weren't asked to just lay there? Like, because you're not
no, because actually Terry Garvin did hit me up with that one time, but it wasn't for a career move or money. He just came by the room one night. We'd all been out partying. I love Terry to death, but he'd sit there. He goes, "Marty, let me just stick it in my mouth. I was like, "Stop."
Did that make you feel better though? Like, did you feel better about yourself when you're like, "All right, cool, you at least gave me a shot at it"?
That just wasn't ever my thing, and I couldn't even visualize it happening. Like, well, what would be like? No, I just never. But it was Terry. He was telling me, he goes, "Are you ready? Come on." I said, "Terry, stop now. I don't mind. He's cutting up once with it. Don't keep on." And you have never bothered me with this. I'm not going to bother you. I'm not going to bother you.
And by the way, Terry, we're on my alpaca carpet right now, so we really can't do anything.
And then he tells me, though, if we're he comes in the hotel room, "Marty, here." And he gets the TV control and he's looking for a porno. "I'll pay for a porno. Just lay there, watch the porno." I'm like, "Terry, you got to go, man." But that was it.
Though, you chose logs falling out onto the carpet instead. I don't know, Marty. All you got to do is lie there. That's all you had to do. You had one job. One job.
Yeah, that's what Jimmy Powers is funny. Damn, all I had to lay there, and I would have been a champion.
That's it. It would have been a millionaire. You kidding me? Look at that.
Marty, what's your take when, obviously a lot of shit went on back in the day. What's your take on guys like Mario Mancini and his good buddy Roma, finally coming out now about, I should have said something involving Rita, the female referee that Vince allegedly sexually, took liberties. What's your thought on them saying stuff now after all these years? Why don't you say something then?
I think, sort of like what I was saying earlier, as we were in it, meaning, this was happening around us, we were mixed in with it. I don't think we were looking at it outside the box, like, "Hey, wait a minute, man, this is wrong." I don't think we were looking like I told you about the kids, it's like, okay, well, they're hustling, they're getting what they want. They know what they're doing. It's not nobody taking advantage, just to, and then now when you look back at it and think about it, it's like, I mean, that thought is still there that we're using each other, but it's just, they're kids though. They're 15 years old, their mind's not even finished developing yet. Their brain's still growing. But yeah, it was a shame.
Do you think there was some self-preservation there also, Marty?
What do you mean?
like, look, you want a career, right? So, I don't really want to screw around with Pat Patterson or Terry Garvin. They can end my career. I'm a professional wrestler. I don't want to be screwed over. I just should keep my mouth shut.
Nah, I mean, if it felt like, they're screwing this kid over, wouldn't have been a problem whatsoever. Just never really felt like that, you know.
How
Um,
about as you're older now, when you look back at all this stuff, do you
well, I
have any
think
regrets that maybe you should have stepped in?
what it's not regrets, it's just disappointment. I was that fucking naive and stupid. Um, for example, as I was talking about earlier, when Terry would ask us to send him young boys over to him, and then at one time he goes, "Oh, some younger," like, goddamn, now Terry can't get in if they're under. But I look back at them now, thinking, that wasn't even right. You don't recruit for him to do that. We're out there recruiting for him. Man,
Listen,
we're trying to get our
I'm
girls.
not trying to like crucify you or anything, but you announced on our show a couple of years back, which was infamous, that you had a situation where someone tried to take advantage of you and you handled it, right?
You talk about in the bowling
Yeah,
alley thing?
yeah,
Yeah,
the whole bowling alley thing, right?
yeah,
So I would think this kind of situation would be closer to home to you than anybody else.
yeah. And you put it in that context there, you would think, yeah. But again, like I said, with the ring boy stuff, if we're still in that area, like I said, if I ever thought that they were in danger, I know myself, I would have, done something, said something, got somebody somewhere to, hey, this is happening. I just never felt that anybody was doing anything they didn't want to do. In other words, they weren't taking them and putting them in the back of the ring truck behind them. They're saying, you're going to do this. It wasn't nothing like that. It was just agreement amongst, but then again, the agreement was amongst a kid and a man.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
can look at it like that.
how can a 15-year-old know exactly what he's agreeing to in the first place?
Well, when I was at the bowling alley, a prime example was, I was 14. My nephew, well, I don't want to say who it was, but somebody in my family was right about 14. We were 6 months apart. And there was a couple other kids that worked in the back of the boat, going and fixing the machines when the pin would get stuck in there and clog it from resetting. We did that kind of thing at the back of the bowling alley, fixing the machines, basically, oiling the floors at night. But so, you had these 14, 15-year olds, working there. And there was that guy who worked the front desk. And he would take, I don't want to say my cousin or family member, but whoever it was in my family, would take him on a car ride. That's why that shit happened with me, because I guess he assumed I would be like them. But he would take them on a ride down the street. There's a couple of them told me, like, I was like, because I was 14, I'm like, well, what happens? What's going on? What do y'all do? And he would ride them down the street, have them drive, and he would, I hate saying all this out in the open, but he would blow them while they were driving and then pay them like I think back then, $40 to do that. And the kids were going for it. When he wanted to do it, they wanted to, holler at one, hey, who wants to do this? They'd go take a ride and they get $40. Um,
Wow.
I guess because that happened in my life. I mean, I was exposed to that kind of, this is life. Maybe that carried over later with the ring truck crew or whatever. It's like, okay, they're in agreement with it. Like certainly I don't want to say, cousin, nephew, or whoever, and certainly don't want to say Ray, my nephew, but he was more than happy to go get that $40. It was like he had told me one time. I remember he said, if I do this long enough, I can get me a car, like a cheap car, like through $300, $400 car. If I can do this long enough to get a car, I'll be done with this guy. But I mean, I say that.
And to think, Mike, I delivered auto parts for $4.97 an hour. Oh, I could have just been going for a fucking ride.
That's it. You know what? Everybody's got a price, Jimmy. So, Marty, we're almost towards the end. You're a pro wrestling treasure, right? And we've known each other for a bit. You're a really intelligent guy. But I'm sorry, this is a question I have to ask. Someone
Okay.
of your intelligence, why the fuck would you do a podcast with that dude Savage? Like, why would you even
With what?
do a podcast with that moron Savage? You're a smart guy. What made you choose that guy? I mean,
Well, I'll tell you this, and I just talked about this, I think maybe with Eric today. Um, when he came around, I was wanting to get a podcast going. He was doing his own, like 2 or 3. He had 2, like Monday night. He was doing reviews of the shows, like there's Monday night. This is for the review of next, whatever AEW. He was doing 3 podcasts. So I figure he knows what he's doing. I don't. We got together, and I mean, he was always good to me. But he had a character he was portraying, that savage guy, shit, you ain't nothing, that. I mean, I've told him that, bro. He said, nobody wants to see that out of you.
Oh, it's a very original last name, too. Very original.
Savage, I know, and I hated that. I couldn't even call him that at first. I'd called him Mizzy, because when I first met him, he had sunglasses on and his hair done, and a suit. It looked like the Miz. And I thought it was. I said, "Hey, Miz, how you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I'm not the Miz." So
I'm not the Miz. Okay.
Yeah. So from there on, I would call him Mizzy because I didn't want to say Savage because that was a good friend of mine, and I didn't feel comfortable saying it. But I think as a co-host, he came on, and he was just trying to do what he was trying.
Tell Sim to shut up.
But he would portray his character from his shows onto mine as a co-host, and I didn't want that. So we tried to, figure out how to iron that out. And really, what I wanted him to do was teach me the production side of it, which he really didn't. He said, "Okay, yeah, that'll be right," but he really wouldn't do it. And I think he didn't want me knowing how, or I wouldn't need him. Evidently, I don't know.
If I teach him, my whole gimmick is ruined. He'll flush me down the toilet. Good Lord, what a mark. Ugh.
When you come into New York, does he say, "Please, Marty, stay at my house"? Please.
That was Eric told me that was.
Keep him at the house. No.
That's what was supposed to happen this time. Eric
Marty, you can drive, and I'll be in the.
All you gotta do is drive the car, Marty. That's all you gotta do.
That's all you gotta do, and I'll pay you $40.
Yeah, and you'll get a little pleasure at the end of
it. Even the cat likes it. That's a steal.
Marty, please stay at my house. I have hardwood floors.
Easy clean. No Stanley steamer.
I like them Savage though. I mean, like I said, we all
gonna like you after this.
We all got a problem with that name, the last name, and as far as for me, just I didn't want that strong outgoing.
What is the future of your podcast, Marty?
I don't know, man. I'm going to learn to do the production part. I'm studying on it now. Eric, the guy, I'm not knocking Savage, but he just was going a different direction. I mean, he was conflict of interest because he's got one character on one station, so he comes on mine. Was he going to dish that thing just during mine? I mean, he had to bring some of it with him. It just didn't fit for me. So, we worked it to where, so sometimes he was great. He would just be like a co-host. And, but he didn't, it seemed like he was very uncomfortable doing that,
He's got another.
Jimmy, I got to ask this. When you used to have like guest hosts, like would come on your show, right? You had some pretty famous people on your show and stuff like that. Yeah. Was he difficult with the? I mean, I'm not trying to knock the guy.
No,
but was
he was
difficult with those. Like you had that Fox. What was her name? Fox lady, Foxy.
Fox, the girl wrestler.
Yeah, the girl
Fox,
wrestler. Right.
What the hell's her name? Something Fox. Samantha, Alicia Fox.
Alicia Fox.
No,
Alicia Fox. Remember her, Jimmy?
Alicia Fox.
So good-looking lady. Was like Savage drooling all over her too, or what?
No, he who he would get quiet with and be like leaning back would be like, say, Rod Van Dam when he was on. Who else I had on there?
Wait a minute, hold on. What would he do? He'd go back. He would like go.
No, like if they were on, he would like. He wouldn't throw his Savage character.
Would he pull the camera up like this? like this.
I don't know. He actually did pretty good with it.
To get away from the full body shot, he'd pull up. Hi, Rob. Rob, talk to Marty. Talk to Marty faster, Rob. Talk to Marty faster.
Yeah, but he meant well, man. And then the new guy got Eric Carroll. He's so damn good. He got drafted out from underneath me. Some company grabbed him to produce and do a documentary on a family out in Idaho somewhere that's the worst incest family in the country. The whole family is all reproduced within the house.
Oh, great.
And that's his video thing. His big deal was because he'd gotten a raw deal on getting his kids after the divorce. So his podcast thing was basically that, guys not getting a fair shake to get the kids. And man, there's a lot of people joined up with him and support that. But from that is how somehow he landed in this thing. And so I lost a good one. He was too good, but he's sticking around helping me learn and showing me how to production and all. So it's all good. I'm happy to be.
We look forward to having you back on the air because you are quite entertaining. Before the Pharaoh's final question, I do have one question for you, Marty. Okay. Why, in your opinion, did Brutus Beefcake and Hulk Hogan, being best friends and brothers, end up having a falling out? What's the rumors around the circle of Marty Jannetty's world that happened in that relationship?
The things I heard, which are pretty popular opinion by most, was Hogan and Beefer would fall out more than once. They had several, but they always get back together. In this most recent time, which I don't know that Beefer ever got to make up with him before he died, but mostly over his wife. Hogan, there's so many guys that tells me that because they know I'm friends with them, but there's so many like, how do you deal with her though, Marty? Gosh, damn. He's kind of, I know he loves her and all that, but he's pretty much letting her run the ship. And she don't know how. She don't know the business. I mean, she as an observer, but she don't know how to be in it and charge and would make the negotiations. She's not the best with that. But not Hogan. Beefer lets her do it. And hey, man, if he's happy with it, God bless him. But he's losing friends, by doing it. Just like what we were thinking, when he was on your show. And at first, you were asking like, well, what is wrong with Marty? That mentally, because we know his ankle, but mentally, what's going on with it? Beefer tried to stand it. Like, no, it's nothing wrong with him. It's just this. And she's over there. He's a fuck up. He's a fuck. And he's like, he's like, no, he's not a fuck up. He just, he's kind of crazy. No, he's a fuck up. And eventually, so many times, Beefer finally said, well, yeah, he's a fuck up, but. I mean, she wore him down and got him saying what she was saying.
she beat him down and whatever.
Yeah,
Jimmy,
I wish him the best. I love him to death, but I also don't want to have nothing to do with him. Because of her. If she would have called tomorrow and apologized, I still would probably okay, but want to keep distance because I've seen her go off and then come back, buddy up, and then go off again. It's just taking a chance with her. God bless her, though, and him. I hope they have a great life together.
Yeah, Mike, it sounds to me like John, Paul, and Yoko, man. Doesn't sound good one way or the other,
Correct.
I guess this is the final question. I love how Mike gives it to me, but you know what, though? Mike calls me sometimes, and I got to ask you.
Okay.
Do you get upset when we play videos on you?
Say again?
Do you get upset when we play certain videos on you? Because Mike tells me sometimes you'll call him and be like, what'd you put that one up for?
I don't know about the videos. It's just conversation, the show. Like with the one with Beefer, as I was saying, I'm looking at it like, well, me and, Mike are good friends. You were helping me with the podcast for a little while, telling me to do it this way, don't do that. So I figured we're pretty in tight. And then I see you on there with the beefcake. And I know it's, getting a show, you're getting stuff out. But you were like, well, what is really wrong with Marty? And Beefer was like, what is anger? He goes, yeah, we know that's bad. But mentally, what's wrong? And I'm thinking, well, you're coaching them right into saying something negative on me mentally. When you say mentally, that means you're fucked up, and then
Well, I think, I think I explained to you, Marty, is that, we legitimately care about you, right?
right.
And we're
Well, and that
worried
does
about
come
you.
off.
And again, look, I don't want to attack the guy Savage. I don't know him, right?
Yeah.
But personally, I'll tell you from Jimmy doesn't watch podcasts, right? Jimmy, right? You just don't.
No.
I do, right? And
Yeah.
I watch it for numerous reasons, right? Competition, actual caring about people, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
And I just felt like this guy was putting you out there and I didn't understand it, right? I find
You
you to
mean
be an
Savage
intelligent.
now?
Yeah, Savage, right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an example right there, right? I've seen you on other shows. You speak intelligently. Are you a funny guy? Yeah. Do you say crazy shit? Absolutely. But I felt like, what's wrong with Marty? Like, he doesn't even see what's going on here. What are you
Well, I've had,
doing?
and there's been a couple of my friends that actually kind of just like the Missy thing with him, because I stayed in friends with Savage, they were getting mad at me. Like, oh, you're just gonna keep letting this guy run all over you. Shit, you ain't gonna, man, I don't even want to talk to you. Well, I don't want to talk about this guy. He's not in my life, he's in your life. You're letting him run over you. So yeah, I get that. I do get that from other guys too. And they're my friends. They're not even into podcast game. They're just my friends from forever. I don't want to mention the Texas Hangman Mike, but he's one of the ones that would get so frustrated from me still dealing with Savage. But if we're all past it all now, it's gonna get the shit going. All right, brothers. I've had a great time. I've missed y'all. Hopefully we'll see y'all again sometime soon.
Always a pleasure, Marty. I hope you and Sims do well out there, and I'm wishing you the best. Please say hello to your lovely better half, good lady out there. And, Jimmy, got anything to say to Mr. Marty before he leaves?
Yeah, avoid llama carpets and rear entrances.
All right, Marty. We'll see you, buddy.
All right. Thanks, love Marty. You guys. See you.
Love you. Bye-bye. Bye. What do you think, Jimmy?
I think we talked about buttholes a lot.
Yeah, I know.
You must be thrilled. I'm nauseated.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my God, some of the crap I'm hearing here. And all you got to do is go for a ride, $40 later.
I will
you
tell you, you got to check out the show. I was getting a lot of feedback from people saying the sound was off. It sounded okay to me. Do I sound okay?
Yeah, I heard everything fine, but I don't know.
I feel like my headset isn't working. I got to be honest with you. It doesn't sound right, but I didn't hear any breaking up. I had a couple of people saying.
You sound loud and clear to me, but I won't know until after I watch the replay. So we apologize if there's been any issues, folks.
I think Marty shared some good stuff. I thought it was actual conversation. Marty sounds good. He sounds healthy.
Yeah,
I got to be honest with you.
Yeah. It still nauseates me though that Marty Jannetty has to call up the WWE and ask them to help him. I can't get past it. It's like, with his relationship with the company all these years, I cannot believe that a Shawn Michaels or someone like that would go, take care of this, please. How long has he been dragging around these feet problem? I don't normally bang this drum, Mike. I don't. I don't.
Yeah, sure.
And I understand their explanation. Well, if we do it for you, then we're going to have to do it for everybody. No, you don't. You don't have to do it for everybody else. That's BS. Take care of Marty Jannetty. He should be in a Hall of Fame.
Honestly, Jimmy, I agree with you. I think people owe people at some point, right? And it's like, we discussed this about Paul Heyman and Todd Gordon and the Sandman and, Sabu, rest in peace, right?
Yeah.
At some point when you're successful off the assistance of people, right? Of course you made it, but it was off the assistance of people. So it's like, at some point when people they should try to take care of you a bit. And I think Marty, I agree with you. Marty does deserve that.
I know it's different, but the Beatles remembered Pete Best. Pete Best became a millionaire. They made sure of it.
Right.
You understand? It's real simple.
I do.
And Paul made it very clear. He was a good bloke and he was good, but Ringo was great and it was a business decision, but we made sure the man didn't live as a pauper. That's it. You can't do that? Marty did enough for the business. He did enough.
I will share with you a couple of takeaways, though, and I'll speak honestly about this, is I understood where Marty was coming from, but if you're going to live in this world like these wrestlers do, the Paul Romers, the Jim Powers, the Marty Jannetties, on and on and on, and you don't have the moral background to stand up for 15-year-olds or women or something, right? I've got a problem with that, dude. You and I have had problems with this. And I think we challenged him and he answered it to the best of his ability, right?
Well,
meaning that
I think he summed it up the way I took it, the way he summed it up. I was going to sum up what he had said. And this is what the summary is. Back in those days, everybody was really fucked up. These are not excuses. These are facts to me. Everybody was fucked up, and they were all living a level of rock star dream, whatever level they were on in that traveling circus, and they were just into their own deal. And that was basically it. It was just a fantasy land, and people were making good money. Yeah, they were paying dues. Of course they were. But they were all high, and they were all maneuvering for spots. It's a different time. Nowadays, I don't think you can get away with any of this because everyone is so conscious about everything, including the color of your mailbox. I don't like it, Mike. I'm going on the internet.
Sure.
All right. So we don't have that back then. We have everybody living the rock and roll dream, and yes, rock and wrestling. Yeah, no kidding, it worked. Okay, it's the same thing. They do that in the rock line of business too. Everybody's living that dream. Everybody's high as a kite. Everybody's maneuvering for their own spot. I don't got time to worry about the other guy. I got to take care of myself. That's what I took out of it.
It's a shame, honestly.
It's people, but it's people. And even today with all the, let me complain about your mailbox. Trust me, one travesty after another is still happening in this world. Stop it. Stop.
No, you're right. I get it. Stop. It's just disappointing. That's all.
It's what makes it worse today. It's what makes it worse today because all we do is put ourselves under a microscope about this one's behavior and that one's behavior. We're just as savage as we've ever been, and nothing's changed. We just complain about it now. Now everybody has to hear everybody else's opinion on what we kept to ourselves.
Listen, I'm not Jimmy. I'm not trying to be better than, but I've been in situations, as you know, because we're friends privately off the show, that I stood up, right? Okay, so for me personally, I don't get it. That's why I have a problem with the Mario Mancinis of the world, right? Because and I know you too, and I know your moral background. Right. And again, I'm not knocking Marty Jannetty. I'm just disappointed in the whole. It was the whole culture. The whole culture, Marty. You know what I mean? It's like I understand it was funny, right? Because it's a joke, but it's like here you are. You know about this guy who's taking advantage of underage adults. Yeah, and you know what you're telling toe jokes, right? And you know what else you also know? If we're to, if what Marty said was true, we also know what are you going to do? Go to the boss? Marty freaking said that there was, him and Patterson are in there with Sean. You're going to go to the boss about this? You're not going to go to the boss about this. No, you're right. You're right. You're going to protect your spot. You're going to still get high as a kite with your friends, and you're going to live the rock star dream because you're going to get fired if you say anything. If that's the case, if that's what was going on, you can't go to the boss. Can't go to the boss. What are you going to do? It's the culture. I mean, at the end of the day, you always said, is the head of the culture responsible for stuff? Well, it obviously wasn't Paterno's case. So, Jimmy, I mean, you bring up a great point. As much as we love Vince McMahon, we'll never know for sure, Mike. But he may be ultimately responsible for all this nonsense. Right, and we'll never know for sure because again, we do stick to the facts. Never been arrested, never been, convicted of any. So there's that too, But at least we explore both sides with equal passion. That's the point of this show. At the end of the day, folks, for you folks out there, that's the point. The point is to take a good look at both sides. I got to give Marty Jannetty credit for answering the questions to the best of his ability and his honesty. So, much respect to him. You know what I'm saying? Right. I didn't get to say it to him, but, I'm sure he'll probably hear this anyway. We would never purposely steer a guest into an opinion on Marty Jannetty. I was going to say to Marty Jannetty, he has to know that in the annals of wrestling history, as far as who he's been, and what he's done and how he's been in so many outrageous situations,
it comes with the territory. We don't have to steer anybody into saying something crazy about Marty. Marty's like Ozzy as far as biting the head off a bat or doing whatever crazy crap Marty was doing. Marty's one of them. So
He's
we
got,
would never
listen.
He's polarizing his shit, man. And
That's
that's
it.
on him.
That's it. That's it right there. He's polarizing as shit.
Yeah, he has huge it factor. He's got something about him that's
Look,
so
you know what's living proof? It's
So-
a Friday night. You've got the Yankee game on. You've got the Red Sox game on. You've got the Kansas City Chief on, and we're still killing it, right? So it's like, again, Marty Jannetty is polarizing.
Right. We're heading towards the fucking playoffs, and NFL season just kicked off, and everybody's checking out Marty. So what does that say? There you go.
They're actually checking out Monte The Pharaoh.
Well, that's true. So we're the conduit. Oh, God, what is that? Look at those guns, man. Holy
Dude,
shit.
you're getting beef, bro. Let me see. Pop that fucker. Look at that shit, son. Dude, Jimmy, how old are you, man? You're like 40-something. You're looking good, boy.
I'm like 112. What are you talking about?
Jimmy, all you got to do is lay there, baby.
Yeah, I really blew it. Actually, I didn't blow it.
No, you actually did. You blew it by not blowing it.
Actually, even worse. It could have been blown. I didn't even have to do the blowing. This is awful.
All you have to do is lay there.
You know, you have ruined everything I've thought about wrestling over the years.
I've ruined? It's my fault?
Absolutely. Well, you're the one always bringing up buttholes and llama carpets.
Wait, hold on. I didn't bring. He brought that up on all his own. All his own.
I know you love doo-doo. So as far as the doo-doo thing, the second doo-doo came in. What's your favorite line in that stupid Hogan movie? I smell dookie.
Dookie. I smell dookie.
And what about this? What about this infamous line when we were kids? Some bastard shit on my car. Okay,
that's right.
So we know. So we know that you and Duty. So the second Duty came in. I was like, oh boy, we're off to the races. You know, Pharaoh. Before you get this question in, the next thing I know, there's poop falling out onto the floor.
You think the dirt sheets will pick that story up?
I think it's a little too dirty for the dirt sheets.
I honestly, there's no way. Listen, if Sportskeeda has the balls.
No.
Print that
and who
story.
Would think about that? Can you actually see somebody, wow, that's a soundbite.
Listen, first of all, I'm cutting it 10 minutes short on that story.
Oh,
that's
on the Duty?
come on.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. That's gold. It was gold.
What are you going to call it? Rectum? Damn near killed him? What are you going to call it?
I have no idea.
It's got to have a really, something about stool, or you got to put something in.
I just love the fact that he brought in Stanley Cleaners. I don't even think that company exists anymore.
How about we don't swim in your toilet? Don't poop on. Don't drop
poop
your
on my
stool?
carpet. Don't poop on my
stool
Lima.
on my carpet.
Did he say? What did he say? It was a Lima carpet?
Yeah, it's llama. It's that animal. It's a llama carpet, so it's really thick.
I've never seen a llama carpet.
That's why they needed Stanley Steamer, because the carpet was so thick and lush, and it got all. Oh, that's awful.
All right, before we go, I just have to ask you this last question. As he's telling the story, are you visioning it? No, you're not visioning the whole thing. I'm like visioning it.
Of course I was. I was like, the audience at home is mortified. I'm like, this must be awful. I mean, I'm down to the color of the rug. I've got the rug purple. I don't know about you, but the rug is purple. Here comes the brown.
Now, again, everybody, you could go watch Hannibal. You could go watch all these other shows where they'll ask you,
or you could have
hey, Marty, in 1987, you did a backflip. How was that? How did that feel? Or you could find out someone dropping a deuce on a Lima carpet. Yeah, which one do you choose, people? Right. Come on, man.
Yeah, and after the show, after all the grade school talk is done, we can all play handball.
Jimmy, in my future, I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to wear a mask on this show, and I'm going to change my name. Is that all right?
You're going to, do you, I wanted to know.
Can you call me Mr. X? Can we call myself Mr. X?
Does Savage go into a phone booth in between, change his costume?
He's probably crying right now. They made fun of me, Marty.
Savage is from New York? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm ready to move again.
You should. You really should.
Yeah, again.
He's going to send a cannoli to your house.
Oh, not another pizza guy, bro. I can't. Stop.
Please. All right, Jimmy. Great show. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Can I do a roll call before we go?
Sure. Who's been with us this fine evening?
I don't know, dude. I got to change my glasses because,
as
we all know, I'm old.
Thank you.
I'm old. What do you want me to tell you, dude? I keep telling you shit, and you don't listen to me. I'm an old, broken down piece of meat. Oh, we got Jason Morning in the house. How are you, RJ Hudson? John Gallagher. Hannibal is a tool. Let me pop that up. John, you are correct. Good job,
pretty
John.
funny.
We've got the Mr. President, Phil DeCesare.
What's up, Phil?
What does he have to say? He says, prying out the poop. One scoop at a time. He's genius. He is genius. ESO in the house. Our boy. What's he saying? How many people are subscribing to ESPN for the WWE PLEs? Not me. Not for $29.
No.
In fact, we'll be changing the show's name as we'll be covering pickleball. Pickleball will be our thing, right? You like pickleball, right, Jimmy?
No, I don't like pickleball, and I'm ready to go call Tony Khan if this keeps up. $29.95. Come on.
$29.95. Too rich for my blood. Can't handle it.
Yeah.
Oh shit, man! Now I owe someone money. I fucked up. What do we got here? What's that question?
What did you do?
Did you forget someone gave us a super chat, dude. Because you know what? I can't produce and do. It's too much. I'm under too much pressure, Jimmy Pharaoh.
Well, you're not breaking out in hives yet.
Marty, what's the Vince? I can't fucking read that. I don't know. Can you read that, Jimmy? Help me.
You're asking a guy in shades who needs his reading glasses. Yeah, okay.
Anyway, I've got to get this guy a question with our next guest, so I apologize. Salt to the earth. Marty, what's the Vince Warrior bearskin rug story? Salt to the earth, I apologize. I owe you a question. I blew it, Johnny. What is? Oh, we got someone in here. We got Big 21. MJ in the house. Everybody loves a little Marty. Loves a little Marty.
What's up?
Robbie Bottle. LOL. How are you? What else? Oh, we got another super chat. Fuck. Just shoot me, guys. I apologize. Good God. I blew it, Johnny. I can't even read that. What does that say?
Do they like highlight those or something?
I don't know why it's blue, dude, but I can't read it. I suck. And you know what? I owe.
I'm just wondering if there's.
Is that John Gallagher? John, I owe you too. Don't worry. We don't fail. You are here, so we do apologize. Next time I got to be looking at the screen. I think that's about it, man. Patrick Rowe, how are you? Got a little friend there visiting. Smoke show in the house. Smoking. Bobby Bunch, how are you? Anyway, Jerry, good to see you. I don't know, Jimmy, I'm burnt. Great job as usual. Well, Chris, how are you? Total pack. I am burnt, aren't I?
Yeah, that's all right. I'm the ultimate burnt.
Jimmy, we got a long list of guests coming in. We'll be back on Thursday with 2 shows, everybody. We'll have a guest, and then me and Jimmy will be talking wrestling. I want to remind everybody that this is Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh, seen every Thursday. We're heard on all audio, Spotify, Anchor. We're distributed through the company Believe. We're also seen on New York cable by over 150,000 viewers weekly. We just renewed a contract with them, Jimmy, so you can't quit on me yet. Gotta fulfill that contract. We've got Al Perez coming on. We've got Georgia Smith, the daughter of Davey Boy Smith. Who else we got?
Kerry Morton.
Kerry Morton's coming on. And then, we got our usual banter. That computer internet tagged us as the Howard Stern of pro wrestling. Jimmy.
The classic Howard Stern, not the current. Thank you.
You want to send us out, buddy?
Sure thing. Thanks for tuning in tonight, folks. You've been watching.
Wait, give me the player flex though. Let me see it one more time.
First of all, I'm not a player.
I'm man crushing on you right now. Dude, you're fucking getting tight, bro. What's up there?
Nothing. It's the way I've always done things. Whatever. I'm not winning any bodybuilding contests. I might win a hive contest right now, but that's a whole nother story.
All I got to do is say, you just got to lay there. Go ahead, buddy. Send us out.
Oh, if I had only known. You've been watching Monte The Pharaoh, and remember, just lay there. Later.